right, here we are here, man. Once again, Jitts TV. Introduce yourself, man.
Alzane Dorvil, class of 2023. Appreciate you for having me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let's talk about your youth football career, man.
Starting off with when I played with you, and I played 3 years. I played 1 year at Lake Lotto. I played at Royal
Oh yeah,
Palm,
that's
and then
right.
I played
That's
for
right.
Powell Patriots with you.
Okay, that's right.
Damn near played everything. I went from D-line, linebacker, O-line, then went to go play running back and stuff like that. Like as soon as my body got used to it, formed out well.
Okay. But I remember it was a time before you came and played with me. I think you took like a year off or something like that.
It was because I was over the weight limit.
Okay,
so,
yeah, that's right. Describe to me what that year was like for you personally.
It was actually it was 3 years. It was 3 years of the overweight limit thing. Really, it was demoralizing. At the same time though, it was okay, I was still working on my craft, that and stuff like that. I'd always go work out with my cousins and stuff like that. And then at the same time, I had middle school flag football, so that also made me make sure okay, I was still playing football. So even though I wasn't playing football, I was still organized. I was still playing with my cousins or flag football and stuff like that. We had tournaments, so I was still making sure I was working out, understanding my craft and getting better.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay. So you're still getting it in, even though.
Yeah.
All right, that's what's up, man. The 8th grade year, you had a big game against Riviera Beach, and I'm talking about when Riviera Beach had that good team.
Yeah,
they had a ferocious defense, man. You had over 100 yards in that game. Let's go back a little bit, man, and talk about that game a little bit, man.
Low key, man. It was actually a very crazy day, man, because that was the day actually Luby Maurice, FIU commit, shout out Luby. His grandma died that day. You know what I'm saying?
That's right, I remember that.
We was together. We was together when we got the news, man. And we looked at each other. It was we gotta snap today, man. He had a couple big plays.
Yeah, he came out the gate with a big with a big catch.
He had a couple big plays, man. It was a very emotional game, and then it was hyped up. I didn't get to play him in the preseason because of my knee and stuff, and there was a lot of smack talk going on. So really, I just came into it. You know, I got the opportunity that game. I got my chance, and I just did my thing.
Yeah, definitely, man. I think it was at their place, man, and that place was crowded. All that pressure.
It was probably the biggest youth game I've been to.
Seriously.
And that was the longest game too. That was 7 OTs.
Yeah, we made it. We had a Pop Warner record.
Yeah, nah.
The referee came and told me afterwards that we 7 overtime. So
nah, it was crazy.
And we lost that game, but you did your thing, man. You had 100 yards on the ground. They couldn't stop you, bro. And that right there let me know, man, this kid is gonna be a pretty good running back. Even though, you had some things to work on. Like you said, you took 2 years off.
Yeah.
You never really played running back like that, so we're gonna jump into your high school career, man. And this is where and I don't want people to think that okay, we out here to down talk a program, down talk a coach. The facts are what they is. This is more so to help parents, that's not familiar with the process. Like single mothers or dads that work all the time, they don't understand but what their son tell them. And a lot of times their son or, they're not well advised. So, this is just maybe to help out some kids coming up in their youth, especially with the transfer portal. Things have become a lot more interesting. I mean, back in my days, there wasn't no transfer portal, so you could wait your senior year and get a scholarship. Now, you gotta be 6'8", 390 pounds, running 4.5. So yeah, it's a lot different. So we're gonna hop into it. What high school did you end up going to your freshman year?
Freshman year, it was between 3 options. It was between Palm Beach Lakes, Palm Beach Central, and Palm Beach Gardens. So good top schools at the time. I ended up going to Palm Beach Central because for one, it was closer to home and stuff like that. And then all my cousins, my friends, we all said like, you know, we all finna go there, you know, turn Palm Beach Central up.
And that's and I'm gonna stop him real quick. I'm gonna stop him a few times, so I can break down a couple reasons why that's not a good idea to follow your friends. I mentioned that in a video I had. Just go on YouTube and check it out. I think it was part 3 of the transfer portal. I spoke on that kids that go to the wrong school based off where their best friends going, where their friends going. School might be close. Do your due diligence and be good at projecting. You got to project where you're gonna be at in the next 2 or 3 years, so you can set yourself up and set the stage for that. Describe to me how your freshman year was.
My freshman year was actually like pretty good. You know what I'm trying to say? Like it wasn't like really though, because I started off going to Central as a linebacker. You know what I'm saying? Because at the time, I was, in my opinion, I felt like I was a better linebacker than I was running back.
Yeah, and I used to tell you all the time, you're a running back, kid.
You know what I'm saying? I felt like at the time, and then so I started freshman season and stuff. I had like 50 tackles that year. Around like 50 tackles.
I remember that. I came to one of your games, boy. You was running sideline to sideline.
50 tackles. I had like 2-3 sacks that year. It was overall a good year. You know, a couple forced fumbles, and then after that, just got bumped up straight to varsity. You know what I'm trying to say?
That's what's up. So we're gonna stop there real quick. After your freshman year, I gave you a call.
Yeah.
I remember this because it was a day before our rec game. I wanted to reach out because I always do that. I reach out to all my players to check on them, make sure everything is everything. So I reached out to you and I was talking to you. And I remember us talking, and I seen that they were favoring you at linebacker.
Yeah.
And I was telling you, I was like, not saying that you're not a linebacker.
I just wasn't the linebacker size.
You wasn't the size.
You know? And but at the moment I was saying like, I'm young, I'm gonna grow into it, I'm gonna get bigger, I'm gonna get taller and stuff like that. I mean, I'm 5'9", but like analytically speaking, the average linebacker is 6'2".
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? Over
Big
200 pounds. So
facts.
And stuff like hindsight, looking back at it, I should have went with it immediately, but I told myself, I was gonna
be
get
6'2", okay.
You know what I'm saying? Keep working out, I'm gonna get stronger.
And did some of your coaches tell you, man, don't worry, you're gonna get bigger, you're gonna get taller?
Yeah, for sure.
You see, and that's another misconception. Coaches, not saying that it's a bad thing, but coaches they gonna say that to try to, because at the end of the day, the coaches got a job to do, and that's to build a program.
Yeah.
Whether that's and that could come at the cost of, a kid having a terrible high school career or having a good one.
Yeah, man. So I was focused at linebacker when you made that call to me, but then I was starting to think every time we go to parks or something, we work out, or I worked out with you, people would be like, oh, what position you play, and they would assume running back.
But, yeah.
Everybody would assume running back and stuff like that. It was just more so consciously think damn, I really could play running back, but it was also a confidence thing. You know what I'm saying? I felt more confident at linebacker than I did at running back.
And why was that? Was it because some of your coaches again kept boosting your head?
It was that, but then it was also the upbringing in the youth, because really I always started linebacker. It was always a rotation. I was never in definite starting running back. But every time I had a chance, I showed out.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? Every time I had a chance, I showed out. I did my thing. But consistently speaking wise, it was always on the defensive side of the ball that I was on, which made me think, okay, let me go to that side because I was more comfortable with
that side. But you didn't understand, and none of your coaches they didn't say, hey man, as you started getting older, hey man, look, Matt Daniels start talking to you about measurables.
Not even. You know what I'm saying? But in their mind, they didn't think I could play running back.
And that's another thing why I always tell kids. I tell them, I said, go to where somebody believes in you, where somebody see, because it's all about perception. And all about how a person perceives you. If a coach perceives you as a linebacker day one, that's how it ain't gonna change. Unless you go run for 100 yards, and you ain't gonna get that opportunity to run for 100 yards because that perception is you're a linebacker. So how was your sophomore year?
I mean, sophomore year was COVID year.
COVID year.
Corona season, it messed up a lot of things for a lot of players, a lot of seniors. And it just messed up a lot of things in general. You know what I'm trying to say? Because like to see how other things would play out. Sophomore season, I was on varsity. I didn't get that much play time. When I did, I did good. I didn't do nothing too crazy. It wasn't
this is your sophomore year, right?
Sophomore year. We only had 4 games that year.
Oh, okay.
You know.
I remember that.
Didn't play a whole lot. I was waiting my turn for the seniors and stuff like that. And then next year I was gonna have my turn to do good.
Oh, okay.
So that's what happened.
Okay, so coming into your junior year, what was your expectations for yourself? Just
my
overall?
Expectations for myself junior year, we had a conversation with each other. You called me. No, I actually called you and reached out to you, and I was like, Coach, man, like, I want to do the running back thing again. You know what I'm trying to say? Because I went to FIU camp at the for the running backs and stuff like that. And this was all for like working out only like 3 weeks, like to prepare for the camp and stuff. And like 2-3 coaches, like, you know, told me like, hey man, we love how you move, the footwork obviously, and stuff like that. And like I was like, man. And then I was like, I also play like linebacker, and it was like, you know, like your size, your build, you college bound at the running back position.
Big facts.
You know, and then I called you and we spoke about it, and you used to talk about Marshall Faulk a lot.
Marshall Faulk, that's what your game kind of translates into, Marshall Faulk.
And stuff like that.
Yeah, man. So, and you can catch the ball out the backfield.
You know, I actually do, you know, and stuff like that. So it was more so like, oh, okay, like, okay, where do I want to go from now? And my mind was like, okay, I want to be a two-way player. Get on the field as much as possible, get as much film.
And I want to recommend that for players that's, only time I recommend a player go on both sides of the ball is if you got the measurables for both sides of the ball. Because going playing on both sides of the ball going to take away from what you actually going to go to school for.
Yeah.
Because if you like you said, you were 5'9", there wasn't no real college gonna come out there and look at a 5'9" linebacker, and you know that's no disrespect, but that's just how it is.
Nah, that's how it is though.
That's just how it is in D1 football. That's the name of the game.
I was just trying to think about how to have as much film as possible.
Okay, you weren't really thinking about like the measurables and all that good stuff.
That's what they taught us, man. Film.
Yeah.
Get on the field so you can make your film. So that was my game plan going into my junior year.
You realized that, man, hey, I could play this running back stuff.
Yeah, I could play this running back stuff.
So, so you finally went to a camp, got your stuff situated.
I went to 2 camps. I went to the FIU camp, I went to the FAU camp, and I went both for running back. I told myself, I was like, man, if I really want to be running back, let me go for the running back. And like every time I went, they just said they love how I move, you know, and like the movement of like me, it looked natural.
It is.
So,
I say it all the time.
And stuff like that. You know, so the only thing I was working on was speed, getting faster. You know what I'm trying to say? Having better vision and stuff like that.
That's real. That's real.
You know, and then I went to my coaches about it, and like at first they didn't believe what I was saying or stuff like that. They didn't think like I was being serious. But then like one day I told them like I actually want to do this and stuff like that. Like I actually do want to truly play running back. And then we had a conversation about it, you know, and like I told him like I was on the verge of transferring my junior year.
So you told him you were gonna transfer?
Told him I was gonna transfer.
And what did he say to you when you said that?
You know, coaches called me. I had like 2-3.
Who was the head coach or just a position?
Head coach, you know, position coach, all called me. It's like, hey man, you know, we really need you, man. Like, you know, you a big part of this program. You a big part, like.
You see that? You see that?
Big time leader and stuff like that. So you know, I stayed for my junior year because also like we was also winning games. We were a good program and stuff like that.
What is almost like a game away from state, like 2 years in a row, if I ain't mistaken. 2 games away from state.
Yeah. 2 games away from states, and stuff like that. So, so junior year comes, I get hurt my junior year though. You know, I do get hurt my junior year. But then
what week you get hurt?
I got hurt week 4.
So from week 1 to 4, was you getting time at running back?
Not necessarily, not as much. I was doing good at practice, you know, like, you know, I'd watch the film, I'd be like, you know, I did this stuff and this stuff good, but I just never got my true opportunity but I was getting a lot of time on defense like usual and stuff like that. I was starting.
How many in three of those games? How many carries you say you had?
5.
Wow.
5, 4, and stuff like that. Near the end of the game.
Game type situation.
Yeah.
But you didn't get that true. Like, all right, you gonna come in.
Nah, didn't. You know what I'm trying to say.
Let's fast forward. You get hurt. How long you out for?
I was out for 4 weeks.
For 4 weeks.
So I was out week 4. I came back week 8 against Palm Beach Lakes.
Okay.
I came back against Palm Beach Lakes. You know, they gave. I had 2 carries that game. I scored on 1 touchdown.
Oh, you scored a touchdown?
I had a touchdown first game back, and then I had like a 6-yard game. And then after that, I really never got enough time. I guess they probably felt like, oh, okay, they did their job, you know, with me at the running back position.
Oh, okay. They didn't really take it too serious.
You know, after I came back, you know, I'm trying to say from injury. But they had their guys, you know, my teammates was balling out, though, at the position and stuff like that. So it was understandable at the time, but I was like, you know, whatchamacallit, let me get some more reps in and stuff like that. But it's near playoff time, you know, reps get shortened.
That's right.
So, you know, I got hurt. I can't do nothing about that.
That's right. And you hurt you hurt your knee, right? Or something like that?
Hurt my knee.
Okay, and so you notice you getting dissatisfied with the carries you getting. And so what you do after that? You talk to your coaches, what you do after that?
I talk to the coaches, but then at the same time I was still playing defense. You know, so if I was unhappy or unsatisfied, I just said, okay, let me be the team player. Go play defense. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, and that was the wrong idea,
you know?
Because this is a business now. You a whole brand. You a whole brand. So yeah, you want to do what's best for the team, but first you gotta do what's best for you, because you can do what's best for the team all you want to, but if you're not on point, all that means nothing.
Exactly.
And I hate to say it like that, but that's the way they made football nowadays. It's a business.
You know.
So did you talk to your coaches about the carries and stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean, obviously I talked to the coaches about the carries, dissatisfied. But you know, they brought up, you know, I was hurt. Then they brought up how I scored, like, you know, I had a carry. And I was like, that's just, you know, that's not, you know, satisfactory enough, you know, to really show that what I could do.
Dude, okay, so
I didn't feel like I was given the potential to like do what I could actually do at the running back position.
Because that's when they probably think that you was okay with just being on defense, and I don't know what was that? What would you say that thinking come from?
To be honest, I couldn't tell you. You know, but it was a deep running back room. We had 5 running backs.
That's true.
We did have 5 running backs. It was a deep room. It was a very competitive room too, and stuff like that. So I knew what I did at practice. You know, I did good at practice. Either the coaches just felt like the other people were better. I can't knock on that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna hate on my teammates. My teammates shining.
That's real. So your senior year comes, and I remember this night. You called me. You was like, "Coach, you were right, man. You was right." Yeah. And I take no satisfaction in being right. I take no satisfaction. I wish you would have called me and told me, "See, Coach, man, I did it." I wish you would have proved me wrong. You trust me. But so, I just understand how the process works. I understand how to navigate through it. And I knew that I'm just looking at his parents and just looking at his dad. I think his dad like 5'9", if that. His mom is. So I look at things like that and I say, okay, by the time you get and I told you, by the time you get your junior, senior, you're going into your senior year. So now you're at a point where you're kind of scrambling a little bit. You gotta find a new school.
Really? I mean, yeah. You know, and stuff like that. Find a new school. I called you, you know, and things like that. It was a rush process, but not necessarily. Cause it was really down to 2 schools. I was either gonna go to Palm Beach Gardens or Forest Hill High School.
Why didn't you go to Gardens High School?
Huh?
Why didn't you go to Gardens? Why did you choose Forest Hill over Gardens?
You know, I was talking to a lot of people. Even you yourself, you was like, they got a lot of running backs. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And then at the time, looking back at it, I I felt confident enough to say I could still compete inside the room, but everyone else was like, man.
That wouldn't have been a good business plan.
You know?
Especially your last year, hurrah, because you just kind of left a situation like that.
You know? So I was like, okay, and stuff like that. So I wasn't like, it was just more so, okay, I went to Forest Hill. They were district champs, you know, went to a winning program. They had 5 consecutive winning seasons in a row and stuff like that. I knew.
Talking about Forest Hill?
Yeah, I was talking to the coaches and stuff, and they said they wanted to have me. You know, I go over there. I go over there like middle of my junior year to get ready for the spring season. You know, and it was looking good. It was actually real promising. You know, we was working out with the team.
When you first started, what number did you start off? Was you first string, second string, or you guys was just competing?
I started from the bottom.
Okay, that's what's up. Okay.
Started from the bottom. They didn't just say, oh, because, you know, you came from this school or yada, yada. You know, I started from my bottom. I worked my way up to the, you know, and started getting more reps and stuff like that once they see what I could do. But it was a good program, like the people. However, though, the only thing that struck was like all the coaches left.
All the coaches. Oh yeah, that's right. I think you even try. I was going to even try to come out there and help you guys out. You guys ain't have no coach.
Nah, no coaches. You know, and like it all happened within literally like 2-3 weeks. You know,
really?
And stuff like that. So one coach had a better job in Texas. Obviously, went to Texas, make some more money, and stuff like that. And then it just was a domino effect. All the other coaches left. You know.
Okay. So. Coming in, you know, you're switching to a new school, working. You see things coming together a little bit, even though.
No, yeah. See things coming together. It was an unfortunate situation that I came into, you know, because it was promising, and it just didn't end up being that way.
And this is tragic. That's why I tell kids, to day one, do what's best for you. Do what's best for you. Do your due diligence and do what's best for you. All right, so coming into, like I said, we came into your senior year. You had your first game. Tell me about your first game.
First game of the season. It was the first preseason game. It was actually a pretty decent game.
Who was y'all playing against?
Some team in Fort Pierce.
Okay.
Yeah, some team in Fort Pierce. It was a good game. We went into overtime again. I had like 60 yards that game preseason. Off like 8-9 carries.
Wow.
You know?
Pretty. So, that's why I said, man, this kid was pretty good.
It was looking promising. It was looking promising, and stuff like that. You know, wasn't too bad. Wasn't too shabby. I didn't end up playing the spring game because I was a late transfer. So I didn't get to play my spring game against Glade Central and stuff. But you know, we was working throughout the whole summer. Went to 7-on-7 camps. Did good on the 7-on-7s and stuff like that. But once again, though, we didn't have that much. We wasn't deep in the coaching staff.
Yeah.
You know.
But y'all had a little talent. I think you had Pierre Gonçon's nephew or something like that.
Yeah.
On your squad.
You know, we had a little bit of talent, but we had talent in the skill position. But in the trenches, that's the most important thing about this game. You know, the trenches. We wasn't really there like line wise greatly.
You ended up I know you ended up, tearing your ACL?
Yeah, tore my ACL.
And what game was that? Tell us about.
First game of the season.
Okay.
Against Boynton Beach High School.
Oh, man.
First game of the season.
Yeah.
You know, I had 3 carries. at the time for 21 yards. And then on that one play, had a 10-yard gain. Mid-stride, felt my knee pop on me. Felt my knee crack. You know?
Feel your knee crack?
Tried to get up. Couldn't get up.
Do you remember it being painful, or was it just something that was numb? Like
it hurt. It hurt a lot. It hurt a lot at the time. I couldn't get my legs straight. But I will say it depends who you are. Me, after I got hurt, I was laughing because I was like, I'm gonna just get back on the field. You know what I'm trying to say?
You was laughing.
You know, 'cause I was like, I'm gonna get back on. I was trying to stretch it out or stuff like that. I put ice on it, and then I was preparing for the next week. And they said give it 2-3 weeks. So he was constantly working out, going to therapy.
You was running on it and everything?
Nah.
You couldn't run on it?
Couldn't run.
When did you realize that you tore your ACL?
I realized I tore my ACL when we tried to run 2 weeks after on our bye week. It was just more getting the strength back and stuff like that. I realized I tore it when I tried to get a light jog and I couldn't jog.
Oh, so you had a chance to. So it wasn't torn in the game. It was maybe Partially torn because
it probably was partially torn in the game.
But then you did it in practice. Dang.
Yeah. Then I tried to jog, keep up, and
the medical. Hurt. What about the medical staff? Nobody on the medical staff when they seen your knee on the sideline, none of them said, "Oh, you might have a tear," or.
It was too swollen to tell.
Oh, okay.
It was too swollen to really tell what was going on.
And really, they recommended.
I tore my ACL and my meniscus.
Oh.
So everybody said it was the meniscus. You're gonna be good and stuff like that.
This is my thing right here. You had 10 total carries, 80 yards.
Not what?
Because you had 60 yards your first game.
Yeah.
And 25 yards your second game. Like 21 yards.
It was 21.
So that's just saying 9 on how many carries? So 10 carries, you had 81 yards. That's like 9 yards a carry. 9 yards a carry.
8 yards a carry.
That's why I said, imagine if he would have got this opportunity his sophomore year. Like you can mess off your freshman year. You can't even mess off your freshman year. But what I'm saying is you got room to mess up in your freshman year to explore and see what it is and what it ain't.
You live and you learn. Would I take my years back to restart? I would. I'll do it more differently. I probably wouldn't end up going to like the top school that everyone was going to. It's like when people go to Alabama, 5-star recruits that go to Alabama because it's Alabama. And they don't end up playing, so then they go to the transfer portal. It's just certain situations like that. It doesn't mean you're not good, or it doesn't mean you can't play. It's just some situations not right for you. That situation wasn't right for me. But it's all about the competitive nature in people and stuff like that. And you go the best play, you go play where the best be at. You know what I'm trying to say?
That's right.
Sometimes it just doesn't work out for you. Sometimes you gotta, find a new path and stuff. But it doesn't mean like the journey's over. There's people who go to college that had no offers and stuff like that.
That's right. A lot of people. So what would you tell an 8th grader, 9th grader who was in your position, maybe even a 10th grader? What would you tell them if they was in your position?
I'd tell them go follow your instincts for one. Follow your instincts. See if you measure out. Take a look in the mirror. You know what I'm saying? Do something that you're really good at that no one else could compete with you in. Focus on what you're skilled at and then build on your other strengths and weaknesses. And also go to where it's best for you. Don't go to where, don't follow the hype or don't follow the train.
Before we get out of here though, man, we just gonna do a little overview, man. Like I said, this kid, I had him his 8th grade year. Very good running back. He ended up going to Central. And he went to Central, like I said, like he said, to what? Follow some friends. It was a great school. The hype. Sometimes you gotta go to a school where it's less hype, less competition. So, not because you're not competitive, but this is a business. Like he said, he's not the fastest, not the strongest, but he got some of the best feet in Palm Beach County. And so he used that to his advantage.
Yeah, man.
And so. And don't listen to the coaches too, man. It's a lot of good coaches out here. Don't get me wrong. Even those coaches.
Great coaching staff. They was very prepared and very detailed to the work. That's why we won so many games. That's why everybody wants to go there. Go where you want it, like truly want it, not where they'll just like to have you.
Exactly. Again, man, don't get too caught up with the coaches. Even the coaches, they reached out and called this man. They reached out 3-4 them. You said, right, called you, saying that they need him. But then when it came down to it, they was only interested in what they thought was what was best for the team. So at the end of the day, man, go with your gut and do what you gotta do for you, man. Yeah, man. So yeah, this interview, I hope this interview, and actually he asked me, I think you asked me when it first happened to do an interview like this or something like that. If I understand, a lot of kids, they going through this. Like right now, I ain't gonna say not right now, but there was a kid, I can name a few kids, a kid at Gardens, back years ago, when I was coaching a kid, 5'9", they got him playing safety. I had left something else, but I came back to visit. This kid was a sophomore, he a senior now, he still got him at safety, still 5'9". Kind of pulled him to the side. I'm like, They still got you at safety, man. You a slot, bro. You know you. I said, you got offers? Nah, man, I ain't got no offers. He told me all these great stats he had, this and that. I said, so why you staying there guard, man? The coach said I'm gonna have some scholarships my senior year. I said, bro, listen, you too small, man. I told him, I said, look, bro, you too small to play safety. At the end of the day, that's what that coach needed. At the end of the day, coaches only worried about their bottom line, and that's winning. So, and they not, because if they were worried about your kid, they wouldn't be a coach. They'll probably be losing if they had to worry about your kid every time. So that's why I say there ain't no knock on the coach. So that's why I say kids gotta understand that this is a business, and that you gotta do what's best for you to put yourself in the best situation. All right, we gonna wrap it up, man. Good to see you out here, man. For sure, man. Jitts TV.
Alzane Dorvil, class of 2023. You know, play running back. The journey's not over. Recovering from rehab right now.
Which knee is it again?
Left knee.
Let's see it real quick. Recovering pretty well.
Yeah, recovery is going pretty well, man. I'm probably I should be fully recovered by August or September.
Okay.
And stuff like that. You know, going up most likely to JUCO or prep school.
JUCO or prep school. You gonna go there and play some running back.
Play some running back. You know, still.
The journey ain't over, baby.
Still gonna see where the journey leads me.
That's right. But see, this not the journey you want to take. You know, you want that smooth sailing, so you ain't got to worry about too much. You know, but hey, only the strongest survive in this football world. So if you really want it, go and get it. Baker walked on at Oklahoma. You know what I'm saying? So it's all up to you, man. And I appreciate you for coming out, man, because it's a lot of kids going through this, and it's not being made more aware to kids that's coming up in the 7th or 8th grade. They think it's all sweet. They think, you know, this is just a game, when really it's a business, and you gotta approach it as such. All right, we're gonna wrap it up. Check out my videos. I got a couple of I got like 3-4 parts to the transfer portal to help, like I said, to help single mothers, help fathers who don't really know the football process. There's some dope stuff on there, man. Again, follow us on Jitts TV. We lit over there on Jitts TV, man. We got highlighting a lot of different kids over there. And we're doing a lot of great things, man. So again, it's good to have you, my boy.
Appreciate you.
You know?
Appreciate you, man.
Good to see you, G.
Appreciate you.
And we gone. Ski.